Okay, start.
Can I start?
Yes, start. Go over automated.
Good evening and a warm welcome to you all. I'm Nipamani Kalita, your host, bringing to you all another webinar session on community health with Anajuri. Before I begin, here's a brief about the team Anajuri to our new audiences who are with us in this beautiful evening today. Anajuri means the bond of love. It signifies the unconditional love. And it is this love, bond of unconditional love for its native land that brought back Malin Datta, the founder of Anajuri from the USA, uh, to start a non-profit organization in 2018, which engages and promotes various initiatives that are striving for social change, honing leadership skills, and building entrepreneurship capabilities in the Northeast, including Assam. For the past few months, we have been engaging with speakers from various fields via virtual media to create a network among the people working in the region. Coming back to today's topic, women empowerment and holistic care for elderly. And here and we invite our honorable speaker, Sukanya Bujar Borwa ma'am. Here's a brief about her. She is the co-founder of Aquali Care Services. She holds experience in business development and research in the service industry. While navigating the corporate labyrinth, she became aware of the bruising competitions and sometimes unrealistic expectations to succeed, which in turn mostly led to stress and turning life into a difficult balancing act. At Aquali, she leads the efforts on business development strategy and client servicing. So here to you, ma'am. You can.
Yes, thank you so much for the warm introduction. And first of all, good evening to the entire Enazori team. I'm really thankful for giving me this platform, to talk about women entrepreneurship and holistic care of the elderly. And I'm also glad to understand Enazori as a team, and what does it do. And also, I have read a lot about it in the Facebook as well. And I feel that you as the entire team is doing a great job in that. So
sorry,
yeah,
more video to stop. So we can proceed to our questions.
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay. My first question will be from elder care. For elder care, what do you think? What is elder care?
See, elder care is not a curative process. It's actually a ongoing process. So it's more of a care rather than a cure. So elder care is not completed if we focus only into the physical aspect of the elderly. So elder care jetia ami bhabibole ami jetia bhabu tetia ami hodai physical aspect of basic uttor diu bakibur keteo consider nokoru kintu elder care ki hoy it's a comprehensive it's a process. So tate ami physical to focus dibo lagibo, similarly social aspect to focus dibo lagibo, similarly psychological aspect, so all these aspect and emotional aspect, of course. So এই গোটেইখিনি aspects আমি focus কৰি যেতিয়া আমি এটা care design বা develop কৰো, that's when we can call it as a perfect elder care. So at Aquali, we actually focus on all these aspects, and we try to develop a comprehensive care model for our elderly.
Okay, ma'am. And what do you think about the current scenario of elder care in our country today?
So basically, we do not have a structured structured approach towards elder care. So yate manuhe actually gom napai je jetia, so they don't know what to do and how to do it when it comes to in the management of the elderly issues. So for example jetia kunuba elderly dementia thake, so yate mostly ami dekha paisu je out of our experience je mostly psychiatrist tate jay. So however dementia is a neuropsychological disorder, so probably you should have you should visit a neurologist for that. Another example I can tell you, keteba ki hoy je medicine induced deliriums thake, tremors thake, hebilake keteba medicines ama confusions die. So tetia ki hoy family manue hetu buzi napai je whether it is for because of medicines, so they take it as a more of psychiatric issue there. So and therefore they visit a psychiatrist. So that brings in more medicines, right? Because to me go tate symptoms koba and then they will give you medicines accordingly. So here what a certain modification in the medicine management of the elderly actually can resolve all these temporary deliriums or tremors, whatever. So here there is a bigger role of the geriatric specialist who actually understands the entire health status of the elderly, and therefore he or she can suggest a better medication management for that elderly. Okay, so this is one thing. Another thing is that what we have seen is that elder care mane yate sobe attendant diatue bhabe je okay we are done with the elder care. So what is attendant বা professional caregiver ki koribo okol daily living activities of elderly help koribo, right? So but when it comes to different issues, maybe keteba physio sessions lobo lage, keteba keteba different psychotherapies lobo lagibo, that time you cannot expect your attendant je tekhet hokole physiotherapist ro kaam kori dibo, psychologist ro kaam kori dibo. So but yate manuhor mane juntu moi dekhisu the way they approach towards any issue in elderly is that koi je nai thik ase ami elderly mane ki attendant rakhi dim 24/7 ami to rakhisu duta rakhisu tinta rakhisu. So I think heneke proper management eta hoi jabo. No, it doesn't. So tate proper management nohoy, and it is not actually, you are not doing a proper elder care here. Okay, so hetu eta kotha. And another thing is that jodi as a society moi yate elder care or logot moi etu add korim je as a society we are not elderly friendly. So elderly friendly ki hisabot moi eta bujabo khujisu duta aspect ot. Prothom kotha, when it becomes to the construction of any space, ami kiman dekhisu je ki maybe hospitals, maybe like any malls, maybe public places, like how much they are elderly friendly. Ami dekhisu ne kobat elderly elderly friendly spot ase kobat nai, right? Even I was really surprised etia ami different old age homes ot jao amar kaam thake tate, তেতিয়া মই বিৰাট surprised হৈছিলো যে even elderly homes jot actually that is meant for elderly tateo jot construction to hoise, it's not actually elderly friendly. Rather moi dekhisu je imane staircases ase, duta staircase office olop khus kara tar piso ako staircase, then even the slopes, edgy slopes ase jot ebar jodi bhori khon uliki thai, yeah, it's very dangerous. And juntu ami geriatric giants ko mane tar underot geriatric fall, juntu elderly fall, it's a very common, aru that fall can lead to different other issues. So even jeti elderly old age home ki hoy, even hey factor to consider kora nai. So I was really surprised. So tate jodi at least they would have minimized the sloping, yes, slopes thakibo lage because wheelchairs and all that, but yeah, edgy slopes, sudden stopping of the slope. So hebilakot ki hoy, even moi more personal experience etu মই যেতিয়া old age home আছিলো, so we you usually do the voluntary activities sometimes. So তেতিয়া কি হয় যে আমাৰ staff খিনি আমি লগত staff and all that we go to the elderly home, and then যিখিনি তাতে থাকে বয়সস্থ মানুহ, so আমি তাতে we generally যেহেতু আমি psychological aspectত বেছি কাম কৰো, so what we do is that আমি অলপ psychological status বোৰ check কৰি accordingly আমি কিছুমান therapies কৰাও. So তেতিয়া মই এদিন কি হল যে মানে uncle এজন আছিলে, so he was very interested in playing badminton, football, আৰু যেতিয়া আমি গৈছিলো তেতিয়া মোক সদায় কয় যে তুমি ৰেকেটখন নানিলা নেকি, তুমি বলটো নানিলা নেকি। so এদিন মই ৰেকেটখন লৈ গলো স্পেচিয়েলি ফৰ হিম। so মই তেতিয়া আংকলক কলো যে আহক আমি খেলো। And actually we didn't have a comfortable space. Hey, old age home to bahute dangor hoy, but ki hol je tate actually iman space to ami eku comfortable space bisari napalu jot I would have ensured je okay yate khelile at least kori musuka khwa ba balancing or issues jate nahe. Yeah, so this is the thing that even old age homes to ami hetu etialoi bhoba start kora nai. Similarly ki hoy hospitals board ami etu bahut challenge face কৰিছো, because আমাৰ কি হয় যে আমাৰ servicesত আৰু এটা part থাকে যত আমি elderly কেতিয়াবা যদি হস্পিটেলৰ দৰকাৰ হয়, hospital visits, lab test এইবিলাকৰ দৰকাৰ হয়, আমি লৈ যাওঁ। so এনেকুৱা এটা incident হৈছিলে যত আমাৰ elderly uncle আছিলে, and then তেখেতৰ dementia আছিলে। so আমি লৈ গৈছো, so he had some x-rays and some tests to be done. so তেতিয়া কি হল যে so আমি এতিয়া they have to be laid on the bed, right? so এই যে বিছনাত উঠোৱা তেতিয়া আমি দেখিলো so it's basically hardly the procedure is for few minutes, right? আমাক 45 minutes লাগিলে। কিয়? because এটাটো বিছনা বহুত ওখ হেৰিত আছিলে, ঠিক তাৰপিছত yes উঠাব লাগে, staircases আছে, but then how comfortable they are, grip নাই ধৰিবলৈ, staircase ধৰিবলৈ grip নাই, so হেতুটো মানুহে ধৰি so that also তাতেও disbalance হৈ যোৱা এটা chance থাকে। another thing is that যিহেতু elderly মানে uncle-ৰ dementia আছিলে, so কি হল he is unable to follow instructions. so আমি যদি ভৰিখন বাও ভৰিখন দিয়ক, সো ভৰিখন দিয়ক হেনেকে কওঁতে and moreover the challenges of the space and everything, how they have constructed everything, so it took like 45 minutes to actually take him to get the test done. yeah, so that is a thing in hospitals. আৰু কওঁ যে public places like malls কি হয় আমি generally দেখো যে বহুত reflective surfaces use কৰে, right? because of to make it catchy, to attract people and all that. but কি হয় যে elderly যেতিয়া যায়, they tend to get discomfort এটা আহে, uneasy feel কৰে because of those
confused.
yeah, because of these surfaces আৰু yeah, so another thing, আমি youngsters we get confused. ইয়াতে ইপিনে escalator গৈ আছে, সিপিনে shops আছে, ইপিনে shops আছে, because মই ইয়াতে ইমান দেখা নাই যে মলজত proper map এখন দিয়া গৈছে। yes, বাহিৰত মই দেখিছো যত maps থাকে, ডাঙৰ maps থাকে যে ইপিনে গলে এইটো পাব, সিপিনে গলে সেইটো পাব। ইয়াতে মই দেখিছো যে yes, labels are there, but again ইমান সৰুকে আছে, কেতিয়াবা আমাৰ out of sight হৈ যায়, then how can you expect elderly to focus on that, right? so হেতু হয়, so এটা মলজত কি হয়, so they feel very uneasy. so maybe we can make the malls too elderly friendly. so এইটো এটা managementor partত হয়, কেনেকে brainstorm কৰি পেলাই elderly friendly zone কি বনাই হেতু it's on them, and engineers have better ideas. but however মই কওঁ যে যদি মই ভাবো তেনেহলে কিছুমান আমি কৰিব পাৰো যে মলজত I think এটা সৰু টিম ডেডিকেটেড ষ্টাফ আমি ৰাখিব পাৰো, যে দেখিলে যে বয়সস্থ গৈছে স্পট কৰিছে, then maybe they can come up to them, ask them what do you want, where do you want to go, and then maybe probably guide them to that. So সেইটো এটা আমি কৰিব পাৰো, initiate কৰিব পাৰো. Another thing what we can do, এই ইমান ডাঙৰ মলখনত এটা elderly friendly spot আমি এটা বনাব পাৰো, less of reflective surfaces, less of whatever that makes them uncomfortable. আমি এটা ধুনীয়া এটা spot ৰাখিব পাৰো, so that গোটেই family গ'ল, maybe elderly তাতে বহাই থৈ, they will also have some kind of socializing. আৰু ইপিনে ল'ৰা ছোৱালীৰ যি কাম থাকে, they can do it in the mall, right? So ইয়াতে কি হয়, দুটা generations win-win situation হয়, নহলে ল'ৰা ছোৱালী মাক দেউতাকক যেতিয়া এৰি আহে, elderly parents বা anyone elderly ঘৰত, সেইটো anytime চিন্তা এটা থাকে কি হব। So ইয়াতে কি হয় যে একেলগে যাব পাৰে, সেই চিন্তাটো নাথাকে। And on the elderly part, এই মই গোটেইখিনি structural challenges কলো, সেইটো কাৰণে কি হ'ল যে যোনটো elderly generation হয়, সেই তেখেতসকল they are bound to be in a home, because they do not feel that comfort, or তেখেতসকলে সেই ইমান comfortable নহয় ঘৰৰ বাহিৰত যোৱা, because we have not made these areas comfortable for them. So সেইটো কাৰণে they are more and more homebound হৈ গ'ল। So যেতিয়া আমি এইবিলাক বস্তু অলপ মানে it's difference in like how we think, অলপ যদি different মানে ভাবাত অলপ যদি different কৰো, তেনেহলে we actually can do a lot on the family part as well as on the elderly part, য'ত elderly socializationৰ কাৰণে different avenues পায়, and plus ঘৰত থাকিব নালাগে, তেখেতসকলো এটা enjoyment, এটা at least mental well-being এটা maintain হৈ থাকিব। So this is what I feel it's going on when it comes to elder care, or when it comes to thinking about elderly from the society's part. So yeah, that's what I want to say.
Now we will mix now we will come to women empowerment. Can we?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. What change has been observed in the economy due to women entrepreneurship?
See, first of all, I would say that women entrepreneurship has just begun. Okay, আমি ইমান দূৰলৈও আহি পোৱা নাই actually women entrepreneurs যদি মই কথা কওঁ। So এনেই মই সাধাৰণ statistics এটা দিওঁ, Forbes India মতে, so it's only 13.7% of women entrepreneurs in India. Okay, that's a very low percentage, I would say. Out of that, Assam accounts for somewhat more than 15%. Okay, another thing, when it comes to the percentage of creating opportunities for by women entrepreneur is just 1.88%. Okay, so this is according to International Journal of Research and Analytic Reviews. So all 1.88% আমি actually opportunities create for being a female entrepreneur. So এই গোটেইখিনি যদি আমি চাওঁ, all the percentages are very low according to me, because I think women have a lot of capacities, and more and more women entrepreneurs should be coming forward now. However, when we see the promise of women entrepreneurs in the growth of in the economic growth of the country, so actually there is a lot of promise in that. Now according to McKinsey, so India can add up to actually somewhat I think more than $700 billion by 2025, just giving equal opportunities to women. And giving equal opportunities means not only in terms of job seeking, but also as a job creators. So so that's what there is a huge promise, as well as still there has been a lot of growth happening due to women entrepreneurs, but there is a lot of promise as well. So I think we should focus more and more into this sector. More and more women should be coming up with different ideas, because women has a very a specific quality of identifying a problem and then designing a perfect solution for it. So also they are very agile and flexible. So using these qualities in in their enterprises can make them a great entrepreneurs. And so when you actually solve a problem in a maybe a problem in a society, so the society benefits by getting more productive, and also the industries they get benefited because these innovations are actually implemented. Okay, so yeah, this is what I wanted.
Okay. Can you give an idea on how we can increase women entrepreneurship?
So here, what we can do is that from the society part as well, like how society can help, and also what we can do actually. So here, I would say, first of all, increasing the women entrepreneurs, I would say talk more and more about the successful women entrepreneurs, because role models are very important and they are the powerful proofs of like what has already been accomplished and what has yet to be done. So sharing those stories actually can inspire a lot of the women, and also they understand that, okay, if this lady can do, then why not I? Yeah, so if this lady can think differently, then why not I? Let me also solve a problem. So this is what developing, sharing stories, help in developing the mindset in the women, where they come up and get into entrepreneurship.
Yeah, it will inspire a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing, what we can do to increase is that more and more trainings should be given to women on entrepreneurship, because it's not only that you just get into entrepreneurship by with some products or services, but it is equally important to run it successfully. So for that you need a lot of trainings on handling the business, trainings on understanding to make it economically viable, to make it socially acceptable. So all this training should be given, more and more training should be conducted. Another thing, what I observed, outside of our state or outside of the country, is that they have certain communities, women communities, where the women actually come forward, share their ideas to each other, help each other, because nothing powerful than a woman helping another woman. So I think like this, we can actually, they inspire as well as they help each other. So I think we can increase in this way the women entrepreneurs.
Mainly, we have to change the attitude of society as well.
Sorry?
We have to change the attitude. Can you hear me?
Yes, please come again. Yes.
Okay. Mainly, we need to change the attitude of the society in this regard.
Oh, yes, that's society has a very big role to play here, because moi and my partner, so we both are like females. So আমি যেতিয়া start কৰিছিলো, we faced a lot of assumptions, ঠিকে আছে, time passৰ কাৰণে কৰিছে চাগে, and then when I said when we say that we are going for work or we are going for work meetings, তোমালোকৰ meeting হয় নেকি? So like these are তোমালোকৰ meeting হয় নেকি, তোমালোকে কি কৰা, মানে হেৰি, and then ইমান কাম থাকে নে তোমালোকৰ, then again it's like so although we are doing our work on the professional level, then again the questions will be like not about our work, that what we do. It's like okay, তোমাৰ তুমি ভাত বনাইছা নে, কিবা কৰিছা নে, অমুকৰ বিয়াত গলা নে, কি কাপোৰ পিন্ধিলা নে, all these are conversations like that we get, understanding that they know that we are actually working on a cause or something like that. So we would prefer that the pre-assumptions, also I'll tell you like what are the society assumptions. Society assumptions are like, they feel that women are not financially smart, they are not able to run the business. So many of the people think that okay, মানে মহিলা এনেও মানে কি ঘৰত থাকি ভাত বনাই, those are their specialties, so they should stick to that. Yes, sure.
They think we women, because we are women, we are not strong, we are weak, and it comes from women only, and under women only.
Yes. Yes, definitely. Like মই সেইটোৱে কৈছো যে এগৰাকী মহিলা আন এগৰাকীক হেল্প কৰাটো can be the most powerful thing in this world. But same way, এগৰাকী মহিলা আন এগৰাকী মহিলাক যেতিয়া pull down কৰে, that is the worst thing in this world. Yeah, so সেইটোৱে কথা যে এতিয়া as I told you, like আমি financially smart নহয় বুলি ভাবে, or we don't know to run the business. Another thing is that আমাৰ already preset কিছুমান roles and responsibilities আছে ন ঘৰৰ ফালৰ পৰা, as a বোৱাৰী, as a জীয়ৰী, মাক, everything. So মানুহে কি এক্সপেক্ট কৰে যে ফাৰ্ষ্ট ঘৰৰ কামখিনি কৰি লোৱা, তাৰ পিছত যদি কিবা মেনেজ কৰিব পাৰা তেনেহলে বাহিৰৰ কামখিনি কৰা, right? And which can be really taxing because for someone like who is actually working and who wants to work, it becomes very taxing because yes, you cannot like disappoint your family members, and here you also need to give your 100% at your work. So it becomes so taxing that মানে stress আহি যায়, বহুত stress আহে। ইয়াতে আমি কি কৰিব পাৰো যে as a society, ঘৰ means it starts at home as well as in the society as a whole, মই কৈ আছো যে let us like develop a more or let us build a more healthy and maybe more supportive, more supportive society where actually where the lady can actually be productive at work without feeling the guilt, without having the guilt of not looking after the family, because certain এনেকুৱা মই কোৱা নাই যে অকল মানে লেডি গৰাকীয়ে কামে কৰি থাকিব and family she will not look after the family. I don't mean that. Actually, we can just divide everything very equally, and also like a lot of support from family, from the society itself when it comes to like assumption. Lower down your assumptions, lower down your expectations can actually help and do wonders for women, because ultimately you are making them feel very comfortable at their workplace and not feeling guilty that they are they are not doing not playing the role of a mother or daughter or daughter-in-law well because they are busy at work. Okay, so these are some things and also ইয়াতে মই আৰু এটা এক্সাম্পল দিব খুজিছো আমাৰ usually কি হয় কেতিয়াও আমি যেতিয়া এটা men led business হয় কেতিয়াও আমি ইমান questions নকৰো, but এইটো আমি নিজে ফেচ কৰিছো, মই আৰু মোৰ পাৰ্টনাৰে নিজে ফেচ কৰিছো যে যেতিয়া আমি সাৰ্ভিসেছৰ কথা পাতো মানুহ ক্লায়েন্টছৰ লগত and আমাৰ clients, somewhere they have this doubt like পাৰিবনে কৰিবলৈ, মানে দুগৰাকী ছোৱালী এনেকে দুগৰাকী ছোৱালী পাৰিবনে কৰিব, কিবা সাৰ্ভিসেছ দি আছে, কাম কৰিছেনে সাৰ্ভিসেছবোৰ, but why this question? মই সেইটোৱে ভাবো যে কিয় এইটো question, because we are professionals, আমি জানো আমি কি কৰি আছো and how we do it. So it's basically this question should not be coming in. So yes, so অলপমান যদি আমি attitude of the society যদি অলপ change, as a society যদি attitude অলপ change কৰো towards ইয়াতে মই কম towards women entrepreneurs as well as elder care, maybe we can build a much more healthy society for entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs as well as for elders. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. How women adds value to the entrepreneurial world?
See, women, as I told you, like they see a problem and comes up with a perfect solution to solve it. So, and when women, when they are at the forefront, then what happens is that innovation is enhanced and your productivity surges rather and adding to the economic growth of the country. So yes, women has a larger role when it comes to the as equivalent as men when it comes to the economic growth of the growth of the country as well as on the entrepreneurial world.
Okay. Coming back to elder care, what are the approaches required at community level and common level?
For a perfect, in order to build a perfect elder care, I would say certain, also what are the approaches that we can start now is that at school level, we can actually sensitize the children, towards elder care, elderly, how their approach should be. Because again, out of our experience, very strange thing I have seen is that nowadays the children are unable to connect with their grandparents because they have this gap, because gap in like because of their busy life, as well as also they stay far away from their grandparents. There are different reasons, but they are unable to connect because grandparents, elderly ki hoy se bahut experiences thake, and experiences khini ki hoy agote next to next generation pass on hoy through stories. Keteba no ami ককা আইতাহঁতৰ লগত যেতিয়া থাকো তেতিয়া বহুত কথা আমাক কৈ থাকে, আমি হেনেকে actually আমাৰ unconsciously actually আমাক মেছেজ বোৰ গৈ থাকে আমাৰ তাত। বাট এতিয়া মই দেখিছো যে এতিয়া সেই কানেক্টটোৱে নাই, এণ্ড ইভেন actually মই এইটোও দেখিছো যে কথা কবলৈ মানে বুজি নাপায় যে কেনেকে কথা কম, মানে আইতা ককাৰ লগত কেনেকে কথা কম rather than just মানে yes hi আইতা hello ককা সেইবিলাক ঠিকে আছে, but above that they are unable to actually continue their conversation. So sensitization is very important. Also sensitization about elderly issues and how to actually be alert and understand those issues. Karan ghorat enukwa hobo pare je jodi konuba lora swali sensitized hoi thake, to jodi dekhe je aitar bole pahori jay ba aitar omuk pain ase, omuk athut problem ase, so at least they can tell their parents, and then কি হয় যে সেই পেৰেণ্টছে হেনেকে তেতিয়া as soon as possible হেনেকে তেখেতৰ কেয়াৰ টো plan koribo pare. So at schools, I think sensitization is very much required. Medical colleges, I would say geriatric department is very required, because another challenge of ours is to get geriatric specialist, geriatric professionals here. Amar actually ami jetia amar care specialist karone hiring choli thake, ami iman ami struggle koru etut, because we don't have lot many people specialized in geriatric care here. So I think geriatric department hobo lage yate. Tar pisot I think another what we can do is that yes, in the hospitals geriatric ward should be there. Geriatric kisuman moi dekhisu geriatric ward ase kintu but normal manhue goi ase, so something like that. But so what we should do is that dedicated geriatric ward and implementation should be should be focused on. Another thing, so these are some on the on the community level, on the what we can do. Another thing what we can do is that government or bahut dhunia policies ase, kisuman maintenance act ase 2007, then you have the IPOP, that is integrated programs of older persons. So these are actually to ensure the well-being of elderly and for the maintenance and the welfare of the elderly people. But I think not much is focused on the proper implementations of this acts. So I think on a government level, what more work can be done on this. So yeah, so like this, we can actually work towards developing a proper elder care system in the future, because আমি যদি elder care system বহাব লাগে, then it's not that it's happening in one day. It's like first we need the professionals ready to take care of the elderly and specialized in geriatric care. So এই গোটেইখিনি এটা time লাগিব. But and with the increasing in elderly population due to the medical advancement, কি হৈ আছে যে elderly issues বাঢ়ি গৈ আছে, and elderly issues বাঢ়ি গৈ আছে যদি আমি structured elder care approach এটা নাৰাখো, তেনেহলে there will be a time when it will be very difficult for the society, for the state, for the country as a whole to manage these elderly issues. So hey karone, in order to be prepared in the future, it's the high time is now that we start taking these approaches.
Okay. Do you have structured elder care approach, and why is it important?
Yes, as I have already said, we do not have a structured elder care approach, and it is important because again, if we do not have the structured elder care approach, then কোন মানুহে কোনটো issues or কাৰণে কাৰ তাত গৈ আছে, nobody মানে ইয়াতে proper সেই idea to নাই or awareness to নাই. So ultimately what it will be like, it will create a chaos in the healthcare fraternity, in the family, adding more to the sufferings of the elderly. So it is very important that we have a structured elder care approach, and we start it now, so that by the time we develop and we become functional, we are ready to actually lower down, or we are ready to manage the elderly issues properly. Yeah.
Okay. Is there a need to change the attitude of society regarding elder?
Like, you mean what is the attitude
Yeah.
of the society towards elderly? So yeah, when it comes to, so yate মই ক'ব খুজিছো যে when it comes to child care, so আমাৰ কি হয়, family family পুৰা জি জান লগাই দিয়ে মানে to find out specialists, to find out treatments for the children when যেতিয়া আমি child care হেৰি কৰো, কাৰণ ল'ৰা ছোৱালীৰ কাৰণে সবে ভাবে, even the society as a whole is very much interested and gives required emphasis on their proper care. But not so the same thing is not seen in case of elder care. So elder care ki hoy ami more laid back attitude eta amar thake je mane because we already consider them as a them to be in a very weak and frail phase. So thike ase mane old age ahise, ekhini to issues ahiboi, so hobo dekham aru mane ketiba dekham doctor ok. So the attitude is so wrong in when it comes to elder care, because elder care is equally important as the child care, because if you do not give importance, then jodi aji importance kunubai nidie, then it will lead to a situation where you will no longer be capable of handling that that issue. So moi hetwe kom, because amiu dekhu je bahute amar dat last we as a organization amar that last approach kore jetia everything goes out of their out of their capacity, everything jetia gute mane tekhetokole manage koribo pora nai tetia amar tat ahe. But why not early? Maybe hunkale ahile, maybe we would have done much more, and we could have actually enhanced the life of the elderly to a very greater level. Then coming at a point where jot mane sob you have given up all the ways and means, and last upai na pai amar tat ahise. So ketio henuka hobo na lage. You should not have a laid back attitude towards the elder care. Yeah.
Karan মই অলপ এড কৰিব বিচাৰো, if I am not wrong.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
কাৰণ এটা বাচ্চা যেনেকুৱা হৈ থাকে ন, কোক নিজে খাব নাজানে বা নিজে গা ধুব নাজানে, একো কৰিব, ঠিক তেনেদৰে যেতিয়া আমি ওল্ড এজত আহি যাওঁ, তেতিয়া আমাৰ অৱস্থাটো তেনেকুৱাই হয় ন। আৰু আজি তেওঁলোকৰ হৈছে, কালি আমাৰ হ'ব ন। তো সেইটো মানে নজৰত ৰাখি পিনে যে কি বাচ্চাটোক যদি আমি ভালদৰে চাব পাৰো, তেনেহলে আমি তেওঁলোককো চাব পাৰো ন। কাৰণ মানে আমি কিছুমানে মানে এইটো ভাবে যে কি বুঢ়া মানুহ হৈছে যে আজি আছে কালি মৰি যাব, তেওঁতো একো কাম নাই, তো এওক আমি অৱহেলা কৰি এনেকে মানে থৈ দিয়ে ন। আৰু বাচ্চাটোক মানে কি আজি বাচ্চা হৈ আছে, আজি যদি আমি ভালকে কেয়াৰ লওঁ, কালি ডাঙৰ হৈ ই চাকৰি কৰিব, আমাক খুৱাব, সেইটো ভাবিয়ে আমি কৰো চাগে ন। এইটো মানে বহুত মানে কিবা ভাবিলে বহুত মানে বেয়াও লাগে ন। কাৰণ তেওঁলোকেও আমাক, এতিয়া ধৰক মোৰ ককা আইতাইতো মোক মানে সৰুৰ পৰা এনেকে ডাঙৰ কৰিছে, তাৰপিছত যদি মই তেওঁক তেনেকুৱা কৰো, তেওঁলোকে কিমান দুখ পাব ন। মানে
আৰু আমি ইয়াতে মই এটা কথা ক'ব খুজিছো, আমি কিয় এজিউম কৰি লৈছো যে আমি এল্ডাৰলিৰ পৰা একো পাব নোৱাৰো। তেখেতসকলে ইমান যে এক্সপিৰিয়েন্স গোটালে, এই যিমানখিনি they have worked in different so they had different roles and responsibilities. Hey গোটেইখিনি 30 বছৰ 30-35 years যোনে সার্ভিস কৰে, and anybody like ইমানখিনি যত কাম কৰি আহে, তাতে of course experience খিনি তো গোট খাই আছে তেখেতৰ ভিতৰত, right? So আমি সেই এক্সপিৰিয়েন্সেছ খিনি লৈ আমি একচুয়ালি বহুত শিকিব পাৰো সো আমি অলৰেডি এজিউম কৰি লওঁ যে জাস্ট বিকজ যে টেকনলজি ওয়াইজ ইমান চাগে এডভান্স নহয় তেখেত যে মোবাইলটো ইউজ কৰিব নাজানে অর মেবি হোৱাটছএপ কল কৰিব নাজানে আমি মানে ভাবো যে একোৱে নাই আৰু শিকিবলৈ তেখেতসকলৰ পৰা বাট it's basically you are born in a different তুমি এটা different হেৰি এজত জন্মিছা and then elderly in a different age right so যেতিয়া elderly সময় যিখিনি দৰকাৰ আছিল সেইখিনি তেখেতসকলে কৰিছে সেইখিনি তেখেতসকলে একুৱায়াৰ কৰিছে আৰু সেইখিনি দিছেও so now the আমি actually আমাৰ এটো আমি এটা বিৰাট ভুল হেৰি কৰি থাকো যে আমি already assume কৰি লওঁ they are very weak they should be like lying on a bed or they যিখিনি অলপ সময় থাকে নাতিপুতিৰ লগত খেলা ধুলা কৰি that's their life but why it's not necessary right we can give so and it's the failure on our part আমি এই যে elderly যে ঘৰত বহি আছে it's failure on our part it's not on their part because we have not given them avenues to do that right we have not given avenues to share their experiences আমি গৈনো কিমান কামৰ কথা সুধো আৰু আমি যেতিয়া আমাৰ থেৰাপিষ্ট বুজি থাকো so we go to different families আমি different elderly people লগ পাওঁ so and they have actually so much of rich experience may be traveling may be handling different departments in the same office may be handling different government projects so যেতিয়া আমি সুধিবলৈ চেষ্টা কৰো and তেখেতসকলে যেনেকে এটাৰ পিছত এটা যেনেকে কৈ যায় it's like we feel really great and actually ami mane enukwa lage je no we have not utilized the elderly well like utilized in case of when it comes to like experience sharing or learning from them so ami already assume kori lesu je eku na jane just because they amar technology wise they are not ami junto eta tech world ot thaku he tech world ot they are not like up to date so ami already bhabi lesu je tekhetokole eku na jane so that's a very wrong attitude actually
yes and they are very social
yes and social and moi etoi kobo the way they see a problem and the way they actually understand how to deal with it and the way aru ki hoy ami hodai eta perspective tot bhabi thaku when it comes to youth or when it comes to young generation amar ki hoy what I feel is that ami okol eta perspective bhabi thaku ba eta dhorone amar chinta dhara to choli thake but elderly can show us a different perspectives for the same problem and maybe from there we can actually come up with a very great solution so I would suggest that jodi kabar ghorot elderly thake I think you should discuss your things your challenges with them because kobar pura mane maybe everything tekhet hokole eku mane enuka nohoy ja perfect eta solution di dibo but kiba nohole kiba kobo jot where you can pick it up and actually get a solution from them yeah
আৰু মানে এনেকুৱা হয় যে কি আমাকতো তেওঁলোকে অ ক খ ABCD শিকায় তেতিয়া আমি মানে নাজানো তেতিয়া মানে ধুনীয়াকৈ কয় ন নাজানিলেও তো একো মানে ইমান ইনসাল্ট নকৰে কিন্তু আমাৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত কেনেকুৱা হয় আমি যদি এটা ককা আইতাক কওঁ এই আইতা মানে একোৱে নাজানে ককাই মানে একোৱে নাজানে ফোনটো মানে চলাব নাজানে
yes exactly হেতুতে sensitization to কাম হে যোনটো মই কৈছো যে sensitization কৰাৰ
sensitization to family বেছি মোৰ মতে বেছি প্ৰয়োজন ফ্যামিলিৰ পৰা আহিব লাগে মানে কাৰণ কি আমাৰ first school we believe our first school to be our home itself
yes well said mane family yes of course and but as a practice jodi ami koribo jao because out since we are education institution ki hoy ami mane gote knowledge ki tate paung boli we consider and we consider that we get the best knowledge keteba we also have this mindset e ma deta na jane amar teacher besi jane hetu eta ase dei so that's another thing so yes family pura start hobo lage but it is also important that at tetia amar eta bigger effect eta pam jetia when we start in schools as well sensitization yes so yes etia jontu tumi koisla je technology jontu ami ei mobile to olop hikai jodi hudhe aru hikai dia sun ba heri then the nati hok ba please bore nokoriba tumi na jana dia tumi use koribo na jana enukwa koi thake so হেতু কথা when because see ইয়াতে মই কম যে লৰা ছোৱালী I think they are not aware that ইমান ভাবিব যে কখতো আমাক পঢ়াইছিলে but then তেতিয়া আমাক judge কৰা নাছিলে why are we judging it's duty of their parents যে এই বস্তুখিনি যেতে যেনেকে তুমি কৈছা it should sensitization should start in the family duty of their responsibility of their parents যে নিজৰ লৰা ছোৱালীক towards their elderly you know at least a healthy heritage maintain কৰে and sensitize them about their what elders can do and cannot do so that they don't think like jodi elderly kiba koribo para na it's they should not think that it's something that they are ki boli kon je elders bur mane eku nezane or they are of no use heneke jete ketio na bhabe because here we focus only on what they cannot do but there is a lot of focus there can be a lot of focus on what they can do actually when it comes to elderly because ami ki hoy je ami jete elderly population bikhoy jete kotha patu jete discussion hoy ba kiba hoy ami ki ko je iman mane no boyok hoy goise durbol hoise omuk hoise tomuk hoise omuk poriboi noare khuskariboi noare bohiboi noare mudha lage ami okol hetu ko ki koribo pare ami keteba kone keteba discuss korisune tekhete birat bhal likhe তেখেতে বিৰাট ভালকে মানে ভাল স্পিচ দিব পাৰে সো আমি তো কেতিয়াও ডিসকাস নকৰো আমি সদায় যি কৰিব নোৱাৰে হেতুতে ডিসকাস কৰি থাকো সো সেই বস্তুখিনি elder care যে অকল medically আমি যে develop কৰিম হেতু নহয় it's like the entire mindset the attitude of the elderly attitude at your home attitude of your children of your grandchildren hey গুটেখিনি আমি চেঞ্জ কৰিব লাগিব only then we can reach to a level that we are actually discussing now
মইতো এনেকুৱাও দেখিছো যে কি ইভেন মানে কি বয়স হৈ পিনে বেমাৰ হৈ মানে বিছনাত পৰি থাকিব তথাপিতো মানে কি কাম কৰিব নাপালে মানে একদম মানে কেনেকুৱা হয় মানে কি কয় ওয়ার্ডটো মই বিচাৰি পোৱা নাই মানে কাম কৰিব নাপালে
elderly
মানে একদম
elderly কথাত কৈছা yes
yeah
so eto ki hoy yate ki ami mane juntu ami usually dekha pao je tekhetokole bahut koribole tekhetokoloru mon but jihetu ami iman enable kora nai tekhethokolok enable keneke koribo paru maybe from like physical and physically they physically ami help korilu olap dhora attendance thakile and all that so ami maybe hetu kora nai or maybe ami iman avenues dia nai or yate etu consider etu consider koribo pari je jodi mane ami sage iman friendly iman open no hoy je ami consider korim amar elderly ako kam kora right so আমি মানে এই বৰ কাম কৰিব গৈছে এটো বয়সত কি কাম কৰিব দৰকাৰ ইমান দুখন কৰিয়ে আছে আৰু কিয় দৰকাৰ ইমান কিয় পইচা লাগে ডাইৰেক্টলি হেতু যায় যে ইমান পইচা কিয় দৰকাৰ it's not about always about paisa it's money right it's about like they also need to feel that they're important for the society they are productive enough right so hetu karone ami hekhini avenues dibo lagibo aru moi hetue ko je elderly aji jodi elderly jitu situation ase it's not the fault of theirs it's fault of us we as a society we have failed to actually develop enough avenues for them where they come out and and think for themselves because actually ki hoy je retirement ba retirement loitu different roles and responsibilities thake so he karone nijor ketia bhabiboi nware ideally enukwa hobo lagisil je retirement or pisot actually nije mane eta nijor kane bhabibo mane lage enukwa hobo lagisil but usually ami ki dekhu je suppose eta moi jodi kon je kunuba elderly gan hikibo khujise dance hikibo khujise tetia how open or how accepting we are as a family ami jabo din ne আমি কিমান ওপেন হয় হেতু আমি যাব দিম নে এজ আ ফ্যামিলি আমি এজ এ ট্ৰেইনাৰে একসেপ্ট কৰিব পাৰিবনে যে এটা বেচত এল্ডাৰলি এজন আছে এন্ড এজ আ ফেলো চিলড্ৰেন এতিয়া যেতিয়া গান বা ডান্স শিকিবলৈ যায় তেতিয়াতো লগত you will have different generations and mostly the young generation say so are we confident that they understand it really well that okay they and they will consider that okay elderly gora mane elderly zone ite nijor karone bhabi ase and then he has come out to learn instead what we will do ami hahim না আমি ফুসফুসাই কথা পাতিম ই বৰ আহিছে তাৰপিছত ঘৰত গৈ কম বাচ্চাই ঘৰত গৈ ক'ব মা আমাৰ তাত ককা এজনে ডান্স শিকিব আহিছে so this all comments আৰু এই attitude to actually I don't think এতিয়াও develop হৈছে য'ত আমি ইমান য'ত we are very accepting for the elderly actually so আমি elderly কাৰণে আমি already এটা pre mindset এটা ৰাখি থৈছো যোনে তাৰ বাহিৰত যায় we often judge আৰু we often pass the comments যে কি দৰকাৰ and that is the reason যেতিয়া আমাৰ কথা পাতো কিছুমান elderly লগত they are perfectly fit and fine এতিয়া কোভিডৰ সময়ত কি হৈছিলে যে ঘৰৰ বাহিৰত যাব পৰা নাছিলে ৰাইট সো সেইকাৰণে কি হ'ল যে 1.5 বছৰ মান ঘৰতে থাকিল so but so auntie মই auntie এগৰাকীৰ লগত কথা পাতি আছিলো তো তেতিয়া তেতিয়া মোক ক'লে যে and she's perfectly fine she is really beautiful she loves to wear sari এনেকে আমাক কৈ আছিলে so আমি ক'লো যে হেৰি তো যাওক means you wear a sari because like she is really beautiful আৰু আপুনি শাৰী পিন্ধক যাওক তললৈ যাওক go out to the market go out to a mall something like that so তেতিয়া কি answer আহিছে যে নাযাও মানে কাখৰ মানুহে কি ভাবিব বৰ হেৰি এই কোভিডৰ সময়ত এই বুঢ়া বয়সত বৰ মানে যে বৰকে একদম বজাৰত গৈ আছে বৰকে ওলাই আছে so why that that elderly felt like that because we do right we যেতিয়া আমি এনেকে elderly নিজৰ কাৰণে ভাবে আমি কি কৰো কিনো দৰকাৰ ইমান যাবলৈ কি ঘৰত বহি থাকিব লাগে এতিয়া পৰিলে গম পাব right we pass all these comments so yeah this is what happening so we need to really change this attitude otherwise we are adding more and more to the incidence of loneliness and depression in elderly leading to dementia later on and different other issues in elderly
okay আমি মানে কি এটা হেল্পফুল মাইন্ড লৈ পিনে নাহো মানে তেওঁলোকক নাচাও মানে এটা জাজমেন্টাল মাইন্ড লৈহে চাও কিন্তু তেওঁলোকৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত মানে উলুটা তেওঁলোকে আমাক মৰমৰ মানে চকুৰেহে চায়
আৰু yes of course আৰু কথাটো কি হয় যে যেতিয়া আমি এল্ডাৰজক এপ্ৰোচ কৰো তো আমি জেনাৰেলি এতিয়া তুমি যেনেকে ক'লা যে আমি হেল্পফুল এটিটিউডেৰে নাচাও মাইণ্ডছেটেৰে নাচাও আমি মোৰ অফ জাজমেন্টাল হেৰিত চাওঁ yes সেইটো হয় এণ্ড প্লাছ ইয়াতে মই কম যে rather than help কৰা বুলি কোৱাতছে if we just explain the elderly that we are actually enabling you যে আপুনি নিজৰ কামখিনি কৰক নিজে right so instead of telling that no we are helping you to do this we can just say we are enabling you to do this so তেতিয়া কি হয় the self confidence in elderly বহুত boost up হয় it can like you will just see তুমি নিজে proof দেখিবা যে হেনেকে it just difference in one word right but it makes a huge difference so it's basically that so I mean the mindset that we have where we have considered elderly population I don't know what like that very weak very frail we need to come out of this because they have enough in them to offer us and we now it's our part it's on our part like how we give them those avenues that they can actually give what they have in them
okay now we almost came to an end for our session thank you we have with our audience we all gather enough information from you thank you so much ma'am
and thank you so much এইখিনি কথা আজি মই মানে ক'ব পৰাকে এই প্ল্যাটফৰ্মটো পালো because এইখিনি আমি সদায় ফেস কৰি থকা প্ৰবলেম কিছুমান চ্যালেঞ্জেস হয় কিন্তু yes আমি কেতিয়াও ক'বলৈ হেনুকা প্ল্যাটফৰ্মস বহুত কমে পাওঁ সো আজি এই প্ল্যাটফৰ্মৰ থ্ৰু দি মই হেকাৰণে মানে সবকে এটো কথাই ক'ব খুজিছো যে we need to start thinking it differently when it comes to elder care ami elder care jetia ami bhabu so we need to plan it in a very different way aru etia start dibo lagibo otherwise it will be too late what I feel because elderly issues are increasing at an alarming rate so we need to just start it now and yes juntu duta topics ot aji asile session 2 it's women entrepreneurship and elder care I think I think we work on, like, I'm working on both the difficult topics. Elder care again, বহুত struggle আছে ইয়াতে, মই আমি awareness দি থাকোতেই যায়। However, yes, awareness or pura, people are trying to understand now, and বহুতে বহুত develop হৈছে দেই, the mindset and all that, বহুতে বুজিছে যে yes, it will take time. And on the other hand, being an woman in entrepreneur, again, we struggle a lot when it comes to taking us seriously. So we face a lot of challenges. So I'm working in a very difficult, two topics, I guess, 2 areas. Yeah. So thank you so much. Yeah.
Ending the meeting. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you.